Hi! So it's going to be my first video that I'm making, and as you can tell I have no idea what I'm supposed to say or supposed to do, so we're going to find out how this is going to work. I think I'm going to have to do an insane amount of editing to cut out a load of ums and ahs, I'm not going to lie. So today's video I wanted to talk about both my summer favourites and my summer, aspirations, because I feel like summer is very much a reset time. A time to work out what you want to be in the next kind of phase of your life. Particularly now that I finished sixth form. My last exam was like 5 days ago, and so it's a very weird space to be in. And so I wanted to kind of talk about things that I feel like kind of are symbolising this moment right now. I don't know if I'm explaining that in a way that makes sense, but yeah, so we're going to talk about my current favourite media, but also, and then my current kind of aspirations or hobbies or things that I want to get into over this summer, but also hopefully further into this next year. I feel like when you're in school, you kind of look at your years in terms of school time rather than kind of January to December, and I think that's very much kind of the case for me in how I kind of view things. I wonder how much that will change, although I'm planning to go to university. I'm taking a gap year first, but I am planning on going to university, so whether that will, So the first thing I want to talk about is just general hobbies and things that I want to take up, kind of have been over maybe the last like 2 months. So the first thing is very much just having physical media of your own memories in your own life. I think that we are very much, we have obviously everything's on digital, everything's online, but I wanted to archive stuff in a way that feels physical and kind of that I can hold on to. Because in September I had my phone stolen, which wasn't a great time, but my backup wasn't there, so I lost a load of stuff essentially, and that really made me think about, what do I actually have, what is actually permanent, what can I keep? And so it inspired me to be like, okay, I need physical things and not necessarily rely on my phone or my digital kind of footprint to keep stuff. So the first thing I've definitely been getting into more is journaling. This is something that I guess a lot of people have been getting into at the moment, or it's kind of this timeless hobby that everyone enjoys. But for me, I never really got into it. I remember when I was younger, I'd have like a phase where maybe I'd do like 2 days and I'd stop, just because the way that you look at it, and I think we see journaling as a huge commitment and something that you have to stay consistent with. I think that the way I frame that in my mind to make it feel less pressurizing, I basically just write what I want. I write what I want. I write if there's something that I want to say, if there's something that I want to remember, if there's a thought specifically that I want to remember. I just want to be able to I just want to be someone with those journals to be able to look back on and maybe laugh at later. I don't know if anyone else has this, but the moment I write in there, I suddenly feel like I have lost all sense of vocabulary. I do essay-based subjects, but the moment I start writing in first person, it's gone. I get secondhand embarrassment from my own journals, really, but having to overcome that I think is important, because I wanted to hold on to those things. So another thing is photo albums. My cousin, I think this was a Christmas present this year, that my cousin gave me, and it's a photo album, and I just think that having physical photos of stuff is just so lovely, especially when I was looking through my parents' old photos, and I was just like, I want to be able to physically flick back through stuff. I think there's something so charming and precious about it, and it just makes memories feel more intimate, I suppose, because it's like, these are yours, and having the physical, it feels definitely more intimate having the physical copy of something than just kind of scrolling through on your phone. So I have a load of like photos that I put out. This isn't even all of them. I still have quite a few, so I'm going to need to buy another photo book, which is fun. I don't really know where to get them though, if you know good places to get some cute ones, because this was really cute and I really like this, and so I'd love to have something similar to the ones that I still have. And then obviously, kind of another version of holding memories and stuff is through videoing with cameras and film, basically. I did film studies at A-level and I'm looking to do film production at university, so making videos and stuff is something that I've always had a great interest in. I actually had a Sims YouTube channel when I was, I think, in year 8. I had for a while, and I've always had a lot of fun editing and making videos, hence why I'm doing this now. And it's just nice to have something to look back on, which you kind of have your own stamp on. I'm finally committing to making a channel now. It's been a long time coming, I think. It's something that I've always wanted to do. So that's kind of like my physical media stuff. Those are kind of some hobbies and stuff. So I want to keep up with printing out photos, putting them in there. I want to keep up with journaling and writing down thoughts and stuff. I definitely want to do that. Screenwriting, script writing. I have an idea for like a short film, which I've had for a while. I started a script back a few months ago. I didn't really get very far with it, obviously, because I had A-levels, and I definitely want to try and finish that over the summer, and I'd love to maybe hopefully film that by the end of this year. If you guys have any screenwriting, script writing, both tips or ideas that you want to write, obviously let us know, and hopefully we can keep each other motivated to do that. Next up is just going for walks. Over the past year and a bit, I've definitely got a lot more into going for walks. I just think it's just therapeutic, and I know people say that, and it's kind of a cliche thing, but it genuinely has helped. I think to me, when people talk about liminal spaces, I think my favourite kind of liminal space is walking somewhere, because it's this place where it's like I don't feel guilt because I need to be doing something else. Like I'm making the effort to obviously do what I need to do, but I'm just walking, and it's just this very calming thing where you can just be really present and also just think about things. I don't know, it's just a very nice space for me, and I've been really enjoying going on walks and stuff. I typically just go by myself. I just put on some headphones, also allows me to listen to some music that I want to listen to, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. I'm fortunate enough to live near like some farmland and stuff and like countryside, so it doesn't take me that long, and I can just, because I am someone who very much enjoys quiet spaces and things. I find cities and stuff very overstimulating, so okay. And I think my final kind of thing for like a hobby is concerts. I went to my first concert over my GCSE summer in 2023, which is crazy. I feel like a lot of people go to concerts a lot earlier, but I went to see Lana Del Rey in Hyde Park, and it was genuinely one of those things where I was like, I love this. This is so cool, and my love of live music has really just like grown from that. And I think going to concerts is just something that I love, and is something that I've been looking forward to, and has really been like a motivation for me to get through this school year. I had 2 concerts lined up this summer, and I just could not be more excited about that. The Stakers. I will talk about music in a minute, and she'll come up, but also I'm seeing Lana Del Rey at Wembley, which is kind of insane for me. It feels very much full circle. I mean, I finished GCSEs and I saw her, and now I'm finishing my A-levels and I'm seeing her, and it's kind of, I don't know, there's something about that feels kind of meaningful to me. I'll be going to regular concerts with my friends, and I just think that it's just going to be a fun time going out, just getting excited about something. Yeah. Okay, so now I get to talk about my favourite kind of media, and I'm going to talk about music. So I love music, obviously, but I've had some particular favourite things. Most of these are going to come out quite recently because, I don't know, I just love listening to music. I think I'm definitely someone who listens to music, and when I listen back to it, I associate it with a certain time in my life, and these are definitely what I will be in the future associated with this time. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, so I'm going to be talking about full albums first, and I have them literally like here, so cute. So first of all, Forever is a Feeling, Lucy Dacus. I love this album so much. It definitely came at a time in my life where it felt very poignant, I suppose, in the sense that the way she describes and talks about relationships, like it's both platonic and romantic. It's the whole thing. It's forever is a feeling. It's not about things happening to a relationship having to last forever. It's about being able to enjoy something while it's there. There's something sad about that, but also kind of beautiful, because it doesn't mean that everything that you've done together, all the time that you've spent together, it doesn't mean that that doesn't matter. And I think that's something that I really took from this album. It's like, just because a certain relationship you have with someone, it's going to be finite, it's going to be a limited time, it doesn't mean that it wasn't important, and it doesn't mean something. And I think that's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and so I just love this album. It has very much a fresh kind of spring, summer feel, and I've just really been enjoying it. My favourite track, I think, has to be Big Deal. It's the first full song on the album, and I just love it. I've listened to it non-stop. It definitely makes me think about a lot about my friends and stuff, and kind of the way that how much you value someone in your life. The next one is Send a Prayer My Way by Julia Baker and Torres. I also have this one online. Sorry. There we go. Again, this album is another one that came out recently. Lucy's came out in March. This came out in April. And so these albums have definitely very much been my soundtrack to my final kind of 8th level 6th form time. I've been listening to them a lot. I think Send a Prayer My Way, I'm not someone who had typically listened to country music, but I definitely over the past year and a bit become a huge fan of Julian. Much like the Lucy album, again, there's kind of a lot of, this has such a kind of a fresh, kind of light kind of sound. I think probably because it has a very acoustic sound, obviously because it's a country album. And I think there's something about that which just feels very fresh and very summer. And just the next one, this one came out in 2024, so this came out last year, but I want to talk about Pivot and Scrape, Sophie Thatcher's EP. Now, I only just found out that she had music. I had no idea until about a month or two ago, and oh my goodness, it is phenomenal in my opinion. I love it. It has a very unique sound. I think it's very atmospheric. It has a very much like ambience, but it's like this kind of dark, slightly eerie kind of ambient sound to it. I've just been obsessed with it. I've listened to it quite a lot. Oh, I didn't say my favourite track for Send a Prayer My Way. I think my favourite track has to be the Downhill Both Ways or No Desert Flower. I love those. They did such a good job. Like, they did a phenomenal job on that album. Also, if you haven't listened to any of the songs or albums that I've recommended on here, absolutely go listen to them. Anyway, so back to Pivot and Scrape, the EP. She's just phenomenal, and the moment I listened to this album, I was like, if she ever does anything live, I have to see it immediately. I think my favourite tracks of Sophie's on this EP is 6 songs. I think honestly Pivot is Scrape and Black and Blue are probably my favourite ones. Right now, of course, I have to talk about FUK, because first of all, I was lucky enough to get a ticket, so I will be seeing her in October, which I could not be more excited for, because I just have been listening to her pretty much non-stop, particularly over my exam period and leading up to my exam period. I just think there's nothing greater in life than kind of pushing yourself into some weird religious psychosis via FLK when you're really stressed out. It's just great. So I've been listening to, obviously, Preacher's Daughter a lot, and her other EPs. Sorry, there's a fly in there. And so I've been listening to them a lot. I think, honestly, my favourite track on Preacher's Daughter is Family Tree. Both the intro and the song in the middle of the album. I love those songs. They're so good. Listen to it non-stop. It just, the vibe's immaculate. I love it. I love her production. I'm so excited about it, and obviously I'm very excited about her new album, which is coming out in August, and she has obviously put out one song for that, Nettles, and oh my goodness, she's done it again. It's incredible. I love it. I've listened to it so much. It has the perfect summer feeling. It's filled with nostalgia and it's really beautiful. I think this is a theme of what I'm really enjoying at the moment, is having kind of atmospheric sounds of like something that makes you feel nostalgic, and kind of, but also having this moment of presence. It's almost like this preemptive nostalgia, if that makes sense. I definitely think that's kind of how I feel about Forever Is a Feeling. So that's the music. Now, obviously, I said that I did film, and I want to do film production in university, so obviously I have to talk about film. We can actually do a little segue from music, because when I was in, you actually can't really tell what this is, I'm going to be honest, but when I was in Cardiff, I found this is the soundtrack for Twin Peaks. And basically, again, over the last few months, I've gotten so deeply into David Lynch. I'm obsessed. I want to make something like that. Mulholland Drive has become my favourite film of all time. It's sapphic. It's crazy. It's hazy. It's got this dream-like quality. It's just everything that I love into a film. It's perfect, and I love it. Anyway, so after I watched, because Mulholland Drive was actually the first film that I watched, and then obviously I had to watch Twin Peaks, and this score, I've kind of talked about this with other people, but I find it really difficult to process scores or sounds in film. I don't know what it is about the way my brain works. I love music and songs, but I think for me, when I listen to music, I'm mostly picking up lyrics a lot of the time, and that's where I get the meaning from. And so typically when I'm watching a film or something, I just don't pick up the score. The score isn't something that stays in my brain. But with Twin Peaks, the score is phenomenal. I mean, the theme is just gorgeous, and it's something that really sticks out to me in my brain. And it's maybe the first time that a score has really done that. So when I saw this, I just had to pick it up. Also, the colour for this reel it's like this kind of coffee brown colour, which looks like it has like milk and like creamer like swirled into it. It's so beautiful, and you've seen Twin Peaks, that's perfect. Anyway, so I had to pick that up. Yeah, I have been obsessed with David Lynch and like all of his projects, and yeah, I've been making my way through all of that, and it's sad because obviously we lost him earlier in the year, and I kind of have only really started getting into him since that point, because one of my friends kind of also became a huge fan of his and his work, and so it's nice to have someone to talk about it with, and that's something I've definitely been doing with her. For me, it's like whatever summer, it's David Lynch summer for me. That's where we're at. I finished Twin Peaks, watched Mulholland Drive. What else have I seen? I watched Blue Velvet, Lost Highway. Oh, I watched Race Ahead recently as well, and literally last night I watched Firewalk with Me. I was silenced. I think I'm still processing, but yeah, if you want to talk about those films in the comments, absolutely please do. I would love that. Next up is another film maker or director that I've also been obsessed with. I want to talk about Wong Kar-wai. So I feel like he's maybe slightly more niche. I don't know, I don't see him come up. I try to find DVDs from Fallen Angels and Chungking Express, and they are so expensive and hard to come by. And it's so annoying because I love these films. We actually did Fallen Angels in film studies. It was our experimental film that we analysed, and obviously it was part of our exam. And oh my goodness, I fell in love with it. There's something about his style of filmmaking. It just has the most dreamy, hazy kind of effect. It's just perfection to me. His filmmaking style is so intoxicating, and the colours and it's just, I love them. Fallen Angels has very quickly become one of my favourite films of all time. to the point where I literally have a little like postcard poster of it in my room. I also have the same from OneDrive, but both with obviously Finch and Wong Kar-wai, they are people that I'm like, I need to make a film like that right now. Those are currently, I'd say, my biggest inspirations in filmmaking. I think something that I've realised about myself is how highly I value atmosphere and a feeling over the narrative. Obviously the narrative is important, but I think the most important thing about the narrative for me is the feeling that it creates and that atmosphere. And I just think that Kar-wai is a great example. He doesn't have two vets, so they don't have this clear like narrative structure, but through what happens in the film, they also are perfectly conveying this like message and this feeling and their themes and everything. If you haven't watched them, you need to go watch these films. Again, with Fallen Angels, I definitely think that kind of feeling of nostalgia is so important in that film, and I think that it's when you're watching it, you just feel nostalgic. But just by watching it, it makes you kind of think about your own life, and I love that. I love when a film, and it just impacts your own world, the world around you, and kind of the way you view it. Fallen Angels makes me feel nostalgic for 90s Hong Kong. I've never been to Hong Kong. Obviously, I wasn't alive in the 90s, but he just does it, and it's so well. The cinematography is incredible. The mise-en-scène is great. I feel like I should also talk about, obviously, when I talk about my aspirations, I also want to talk about some films that I want to watch. So, Amelie, I would like to watch Inland Empire. To be honest, I just want to watch David Lynch's entire discography. I really want to watch Wong Kar-wai's other films as well. I think the ones I'm looking at, 2046 and Happy Together, I would really like to watch. However, again, it's like impossible to find somewhere to watch them, and because they are in Chinese, I need somewhere that has obviously the English subtitles. It just kind of makes it a little bit more complicated to find where to watch them. So if you kind of know anywhere to find them, to watch them, etc., let me know. So if you have any film recommendations which feel kind of maybe adjacent, or I don't know, just have a similar feeling, atmosphere, anything like that to any of the things I just talked about, obviously comment below. Or if you've seen any of them and you want to talk about them, again, comment below, because I would love to talk about them in detail. Okay, so now we're going to move on to television. Obviously I've already talked about Twin Peaks, so I finished that recently. So let's go on to other television shows. I feel like in the same vein, I just have to talk about Yellow Jackets. Obviously the new season came out, well, when did it finish? I don't even remember, but this came out this year. I had already seen the first two seasons, obviously, when it came out. Yeah, I've just been obsessed with this show. I mean, I definitely have my gripes with the third season. Like I do, I think with most shows, I think when you get to a certain point in a show, you're just like, I don't know what it is about TV shows not living up to their full potential, but it seems to happen every time. We just start so strong, and then it just, yeah, I am talking about the Umbrella Academy season 4. I didn't have to get through my house to feel like a mess. Now you have anything like light, so it's like sometimes I'm back in the I love that show. And also, back to Yellow Jackets. Again, I also have my gripes with that. So I'm going to do spoilers for Yellow Jackets. So if you don't, I'll put like a time to skip to. I wish they had done Ty and Van more justice. Particularly in the adult timeline, it just irritates me to no end what they did. I'm not necessarily opposed directly to Van dying, but I am opposed to the way that they handled it. Particularly in episode 10. They did not try to but am I still going to tune into season 4? Yes. Am I still excited for season 4? Absolutely. But there's just a few things that kind of irritate me about the way they handled it. And I just, yeah. This wasn't meant to be a rant about TV shows, but here we are anyway. Anyway, in a more positive light, I've been obsessed with Yellow Jackets. I was really enjoying all of like the fan theories and stuff that people were coming out with, well, like every week the episodes were coming out. I love an active fandom that can talk about things. It's just been really enjoyable. My favourite character is Van, and so obviously then I adore producer. Hearing their interviews and the way they talk about Van, they are just, and the way they essentially built this character themselves is just incredible. I watched them to Clarita Diet because they were in it. Honestly, another great show. It's starting to sound really concerning, the amount of stuff that I'm into right now involving cannibalism. But anyway, again, a great show. Again, I wish they hadn't been cancelled, but what can you do? Netflix just... Yeah, me and Netflix, we're not on best terms. We're not on the best terms. I'm gonna be honest. I've been loving Yellow Jackets. I even got a band book I thought. I feel like at any stage of life you have to have a sitcom on the go, and for this summer, my sitcom of choice is Superstore. This was one of my friend's favourite sitcoms. She talked to me a while ago about it, and I was like, interesting, I'll add it to my list. I'm finally watching it, and I have loved it so far. I think I'm on season 2. I just love the like critical commentary on big corporations. I think that's great, but also spun into a really fun and entertaining show, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, I did realise that I didn't talk about books. I haven't been reading that much recently, obviously because of my exams and stuff. I find it really difficult to read, just because there's so much going on up here, and I can't focus. But I am about like 50 pages away from finishing The Red Republic, which is the second book in the War series. I'm really enjoying the series. I think I am going to take a break from the series though and read something else. I did in fact buy E. Schwab's new book while I was in Cardiff, and I'm so excited to read that. Yeah, I'm really into sci-fi vampires at the moment, I think. That's my other summer favourite. Okay, well, we made it to the end of the video. I've yapped a lot, kind of about nothing. I hope that I've said something cohesive or even remotely logical. I'm honestly not too sure. I'm sure I'll cringe out so much when I'm watching back the footage. But yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. I hope to be doing some more videos. I'll definitely be trying to do some more vlogs and stuff, and definitely do some vlogs of the concerts that I'm going to. Just random other bits. If you have any particular things that I've mentioned here that you want me to talk about more or to do a video on, let me know. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you very soon in the next one.